So first I want to introduce myself. In July of 2016, I was 11 weeks pregnant with this guy and nursing our, at the time, 1-year-old little boy, Jace, his older brother. I was 11 weeks pregnant with Jude, and I had felt a lump in my left breast. Due to nursing and being a new mom, especially at the age of 22, I really didn't think too much of it. Felt it, but I didn't say anything, and I was still producing milk with Jace, so I put it off. And for about 6 months, the lump actually grew to probably the size of a baseball. So whenever it started growing and I had a surprise pregnancy with Jude, I met with my OB on how do I make this milk duct go away. At the time I thought it was a clogged milk duct. And luckily, thankfully for her, she did a biopsy, and the next day I was diagnosed with stage 3 invasive ductal carcinoma, which is stage 3 breast cancer. So fast forward, and maybe if you guys want to hear that full story of breast cancer, I can share all of that, but it was a crazy time in our life, and we are so thankful. I'm now 3 years cancer-free, and Jude is a crazy 2.5-year-old, almost 3-year-old. The adoption. Adoption has been something that I've been familiar with my whole life. My little sister was adopted from Russia 19 years ago. My parents adopted her when she was 14 months old. So it's always been something that's been around my family. She has always known that she was adopted, and I had always told JR, even whenever we first got together 10 years ago, that I eventually want to adopt, and that I wanted to do because of my little sister and my family doing that. After having Jude, my oncologist came to me and pretty much said, you need to get pregnant now. If you still want another baby, if you want to grow your family, you pretty much have to get pregnant right away, because I don't want your ovaries and everything in your body too much longer, especially with you being BRCA1 positive and already having breast cancer. I want you to completely have a full hysterectomy. So my husband and I, of course, we had to make a very harsh decision, being only at that time I was only 23 years old, and having to make that sort of decision about your future when you have just gone through all of that. I mean, 6 rounds of chemotherapy while pregnant, double mastectomy, radiation, and a 1.5-year-old and a newborn. Did I really want to just put my body through a whole other pregnancy just to have a larger family? So for personal reasons, we decided to go ahead and have a full hysterectomy. I had to think of myself at the time, healing myself, healing my family, and be strong for my 2 current kids and my husband. So yeah, I kind of just focused on my family and focused on getting better, bettering myself, opening my own business, doing a lot of things that I wanted to do. And then fast forward to when my husband started talking about adoption. I had always, told him that I wanted a big family. He comes from a pretty big family too, but I come from an even larger family. And I had heard him mention to someone, yeah, maybe one day we'll adopt, or maybe one day we'll adopt a little girl. And that's whenever I peeped my head around the corner, and I was like, I've never actually heard him ever say the words to someone. So that's whenever we started, talking about what we actually have to do. We know in the United States that it's a pretty long process, and we know tons of paperwork and so much information goes into it just because of what my family has been through with my sister. So that's when we contacted a home study caseworker here in New Braunfels. We asked her, come over, do a home study on our family, and we'll figure out where to even start. It's a 40-page article about our whole life, how much money we make, what we do as our careers, how we interact with our kids, pretty much everything that she visualized and everything that she saw about us, to present us to other adoption agencies. And I found an adoption consultant company. What adoption consultants are is someone who is kind of on your side, on the adoptive parent's side. They have access to tons of agencies around the United States. So the specific one that we chose to go with is a consultant company called Mustard Seed Adoption Consultants. So Jessica and Taylor and everyone who is a part of or started the Mustard Seed Adoption Consultant has been absolutely amazing through the whole process. We had presented to, I think, 2 moms prior. So what you get on your end is an email that will be an email that will briefly say expected mom, I don't know, for example, Reagan, expected mom Reagan. And you open the email and it would be, Reagan is located in Texas. She is, this is how old she is. This is why she's choosing adoption. The baby is a boy or the baby is a girl. This on our end, then we say them yes or no if we're interested in this case. Then they send our profile to the agency, and then the adoptive mother has tons of different profiles of families to look through. So essentially, it's the profile is a book about my husband and I, about our family, where we live, what house the baby will grow up in, what type of religious beliefs do we believe, everything that we like doing, our hobbies, pretty much everything about us, the adoptive mother will know. So you then the mother has about 3 days to decide out of all these different cases that say yes to her and the baby. We were presented twice to 2 previous families that they had said no to us for various reasons. Some want, different ethnic backgrounds, or some want a family with no kids. There's just so many different variations that go into what the adoptive mom wants for the baby. So that is when I came across Our Expecting Mother's profile. I remember seeing Our Expecting Mother's profile, and on the bottom of the cases, it says like an estimate of how much the adoption is going to cost. So obviously, prior to getting into adoption, you don't realize the amount of money that goes into it for legal fees, for lawyer fees, for your expecting mother expenses. A lot of people don't realize that when you are matched with a birth mother, throughout her whole pregnancy, whether she only has 2 weeks or she's matched when she's 10 weeks pregnant, your family now has to provide for her and pay her birth mother's expenses. So that can be for her gas, for her food, for her electricity bills, for her rent, everything while she is pregnant, your family is responsible for. The birth mother that we chose, and I remember her profile coming through, was quite expensive, on the more expensive side of adoption. And if you aren't familiar with the price, Google domestic adoption expenses and you will see the prices there. Even though it was on the more expensive side, but I, started thinking to God, if this would be the one, let me just go ahead and send in our answer. Let me just go ahead and send in our profile, and we'll see what happens. So I was with a client, and I get a missed call from the city that she's in Florida. I get a call from Florida number. I couldn't answer it because I was with a client about 2 days after I had submitted the application. Remind you, she gets 3 days to say yes or no. So I get a Florida call number. I immediately call back, and it is the adoption agency. And they just said, they wanted to let us know that they have mom in the car, and she has chosen our family to be the parents and to adopt this baby. So immediately I was completely taken off guard. I mean, I definitely did not expect that last minute. It was kind of surreal of what do you even say. Thank you, but then also, like, I just couldn't even believe it. I still can't believe it. So I immediately call my husband, and how I tell him was, she chose us. We're gonna be parents again. We're adopting a baby. We're having another baby. And I hear little sniffles in the phone, and I hear him just hang up. And I'm like, okay. So is everything okay? So I call him back, and he just says that he was just overwhelmed with emotions, that this was actually happening. Everything that we had been through in the past 2 years to come to this moment to complete our family. So we were very, very, very excited. And that's when we didn't know that Journey actually was a little girl. So our adoptive mom was only 10 weeks pregnant at the time, so still very, very early in her pregnancy. The due date is December 15th, so right before my birthday and my son's birthday. So they'll grow up about 3 years apart from each other, and it'll be like a perfect age difference. So we get updates on every time she goes to the doctor's office. We do talk to her on the phone, but not a lot, not as much as like a conversation texting wise. Everything is done through the agency. For those of you that have been asking, we're doing a semi-closed adoption, to where she will get pictures every year of the baby through the agency, just to keep updated. And we do talk. My husband and I are actually flying out next week to Florida to meet her. We get to do a 4D ultrasound of baby Journey, and have lunch with the mom and actually really get to know her. So I'm hoping, we'll see, hoping that we can vlog some of those behind the scenes. Of course, not showing the mom, but respecting her privacy, but just showing you guys more or less of behind the scenes on us actually going to meet her, and a first look ultrasound of baby Journey. So Journey is currently 23 weeks. So she is more than halfway done, halfway there. And yeah, just I wanted to make this video about the whole process. We are actually in her nursery right now. But I know that after actually meeting her, it's going to start getting more and more closer and more real. So yeah, I just wanted to make a video about how even to adopt, where to start. Comment below more of what you want to see. If you have questions, concerns, I'll go ahead and also put our Instagram. Very excited to share this with you guys, and hopefully you follow along. Please share with anyone that you might be interested in. We are still doing fundraising for our adoption fund, so if you feel the need to donate in any sort of way towards our adoption, it would be so appreciated, because we are very, very grateful, and we can't wait to bring baby Journey home. So I will talk to you guys soon. My next time I'm going to make a video is whenever we travel to Florida to meet our expecting mother and actually see baby Journey for the very first time. I'm very excited to see her beautiful face, and I journal to her every single week, kind of what's been going on with our life, and yeah, I'm very excited. So I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.